An oil depot is once again igniting on Russian territory, and once again a drone is to blame. But this time it's different, and the reason is not the refinery. Strikes on them, as surprising as it may sound, have become something everyone is used to. It's about the distance. To hit the oil depot in Bashkortostan, our drone flew about 1,500 kilometers, an absolute record. What kind of Ukrainian drone was able to fly such a vast distance? And what other long-range weapons can our defenders surprise us with? Find out in just a moment. The Ukrainian authorities and developers are trying to keep data on long-range UAVs secret. There are obvious reasons for this. However, it was still possible to find out who was behind the attack in Bashkortostan. Sources told Ukrainska Pravda that it was the Ninja drone. However, the publication was not provided with details of the attack or the drone specifications. Even though the Ninja set a record of 1,500 kilometers and is undoubtedly promising, it turns out that the Ukrainian special services have another favorite, namely the Liutyi drone. It has already made history as this UAV frightened Putin himself. In October of last year, it flew approximately only just 12 kilometers from the place where Bunkerny was at that moment.
We hit their helipad and damaged several helicopters. But at first, we didn't know that the day before we hit this Adler, Putin had met with Tokayev there. Putin was 12 kilometers from the place where the second Liutyi arrived. This was later confirmed to us.
The story of this Ukrainian drone began in October 2022. At that time, Ukroboronprom announced an ambitious goal to build a strike drone weighing more than 200 kilograms and capable of flying over 1,000 kilometers. And it turned out these were not just dreams. By November of the same year, it became known that the first tests of the UAV were successfully conducted. And just a year later, the Minister of Strategic Industries, Oleksandr Kamyshin, announced with delight, Ukraine has started mass production of strike drones similar to the Iranian Shaheds, however without details or any specific names. Now it has become clear that they were talking about the Liutyi drone. Ukraine won't disclose the exact specifications. Only known is the drone's payload capacity is 75 kilograms and its flight range is up to 1,000 kilometers. Russian sources on their part write that the Liutyi is 4.4 meters long, with a wingspan of 6 to 7 meters and a takeoff weight of 250 to 300 kilograms. The cost of such a long-range drone is approximately $200,000, and it fully justifies its price. We are not sure if we can even count how many times this drone has hit targets on enemy territory. One thing is certain, this drone has stirred up all of Russia. Up to 80% of all accurate hits on Russian refineries are the work of the Liutyi. And although the Liutyi can indeed be considered a pride of Ukraine, it is not the only one destroying military targets in Russia. We have already told you about the Ninja drone and its record. But that's not all. Ukrainian defenders use many different UAVs. The same Bober, which was the first to reach Moscow. At that time, it was a breakthrough, and its range of up to 800 kilometers delighted and pleasantly surprised Ukrainians.
It belongs to the category of autonomous flying vehicles. It has a program installed, and it is very well acquainted with cartography. It has flight direction support. That is, it receives the program in advance and knows where to fly. It has excellent terrain following capabilities, and it is least likely that it is controlled by an operator.
According to Gore information, this UAV caused Russia $900 million in damages from January to August last year. And many Russians certainly remember its flights.
Look, right over our house, bro, right over our house. It's flying right at me. Look, bro. Do you see it? There's Roma.
Russians will also not forget this hit. This attack on military targets in Tatarstan was carried out in early April, and at that time it was also a record for range. The drone flew about 1,200 kilometers and accurately hit the facility where Shahids were produced. Experts speculated about what kind of drone could hit the target so effectively. And then they concluded that it was likely an A-22 Flying Fox aircraft that had been converted into a drone. Yes. Yes. And although it's quite clear that drones are the future, we should not forget about traditional long-range weapons, missiles. In this area, Ukraine also has something to boast about. For example, the Neptune, already known to Russians. It was the one that sank the Moskva, but it's not just an anti-ship missile. The developers modified the Sea Storm and made it also land-based. Neptune has already destroyed an enemy S-400 in occupied Crimea, and this land-based missile can fly about 400 kilometers. But as it turned out, for Ukrainians, these are just numbers, which means they can be adjusted. The developers have already managed to improve the anti-ship missile. This became clear immediately after the attack on the large landing ship Konstantin Olshansky, stolen from Ukraine.
We see that the missile successfully attacked various targets. Neptune was able to hit a target that was near the pier. This is significantly more difficult. And to this, we add that we are talking about the Sevastopol Bay, which is the most protected object in terms of air defense on the occupied Crimean Peninsula. So we can say that Neptune has been globally modernized.
But there are things that don't need to be modernized. We are talking about the operational tactical missile complex Sapsan, or Thunder 2. Last year, the Russians even claimed that they intercepted one such missile. But this seems more like fiction than truth. Sapsan is still in the development stage, although at the end of last year, the general director of Ukroboronprom, Herman Smetanin, last intrigued Ukrainians.
Do you already know what to do to ensure that Ukrainian Sapsan missiles make it to the decisive battle? I'll speak in general terms. There is a state program to increase missile production. People are working, everyone is motivated, and wants to hit Moscow so it won't seem like a small matter to anyone there. But during the war, this is top secret information.
The development of this complex has been ongoing for several years, and the previously stated specifications may have long become outdated. But until recently, there was talk of a ballistic missile for the Sapsa, which, depending on the version, can fly 300 or more kilometers. For the national missile, there was already talk of a range of more than 400 kilometers. Well, who knows, maybe during the development stage they will manage, or have already managed, to adjust the range further. Time will tell, and this will definitely be discussed in the swamps. And when it happens, we will definitely tell you about it. So like this video and write in the comments which long-range weapon of Ukraine you consider the most effective. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new episodes of Arsenal.